Hello, scholars. It is Miss Hazel, and today you're going to follow with me for this part of our reading lesson, but on this ed puzzle. Okay? So I know this is the first time we're trying this during our reading and writing time. So just do your best to follow along. If you have a question, raise your hand, and Ms. Kadimi or myself will get there as quickly as we can to help you. All right, so what we're going to focus on together here is we are going to work on text features. Right, so we know that we are learning how to use text features to help us understand a text. We are now able to say that we know what text features are, and that we can explain what different text features do. Now we're really working on this here where we're going to take what we know and use it to help us better understand a text. In our case, we're going to work with Shark Attack, okay? We're going to focus on two specific types of text features. First, we are going to focus on the table of contents. Okay, so your first job is to tell me if you remember what the table of contents does. So the table of contents tells us what different sections, maybe chapters, or just parts of the book are going to be about. Right? So here we have the table of contents in Shark Attack. Okay? I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see it all at once. I know it may be a little small on your screen, right? So remember we have a page number, and then we have, in our case, it's the title of a section of the book. So what page will we find the section on the book about tagging sharks? What page will we find the tagging sharks section? Nice. Good. Okay. Now, I said we're also going to focus on another type of text feature. We're going to focus on the index. So I'm giving you the time now to tell me if you remember what the index does. Okay, so the index, here we'll scroll to the next page, basically gives us a bunch of different words or like important terms, maybe they're vocabulary words, things like that, where you can go into the back of the book and be like, oh man, I remember that Miss Hazel read all about the great white shark, but I can't remember where it is in the book. So you would go and then you would be like, oh, great white shark. I can see different pages. All right, your job right now. Tell me what page number I would go to if I wanted to learn more about poison. If I wanted to learn more about poison. Okay. So, again, if you had this book in front of you, you could use it to help you decide. Okay. I like to think of it as like the index is useful when you've already read it. That's why it's at the back of the book. It comes at the very end. Whereas the table of contents is useful because it gives you like a preview of what it's going to be about. So the index it breaks a text up into important vocabulary words and gives the reader pages to find information about specific things. Great. So we're doing pretty well. We are able to explain what text features are, those tools that help us to learn about a text. We know how to explain what some text features do, like the ones we're working on today, table of contents, and the index. Good. Okay. Now, from the table of contents, I want you to give a prediction or make an inference. If we are going to learn about page 56, if we're going to go to the section on page 56, are we going to hear facts or a story? Will page 56 tell us about facts about a shark, or will it be a story? Yeah, this one's a little tough, right? Because when I'm looking at this text and we say that it's an informational text, we expect it to be all facts. But in the case of page 56, see, I don't have to flip through the whole book because I know the page. Page 56, the myth of the shark prince. Then that makes me think, oh, a myth is kind of like a tale. So I'm not sure if it's true or not. Well, let's read. Long, long ago, the prince of sharks lived on the island of Hawaii. His name was Nanave. He had a human body, but on his back was the mouth of a great white shark. Okay, based on what you heard here, do we think we are going to hear about facts about sharks in this section, or are we going to hear a story? Yes, I agree. It's definitely a story now in this case, because we know that it is impossible for somebody to have a human body and the mouth of a great white shark on their body. That's just not possible. There's not a picture of Nanave, but there are some great white sharks. There you go. Okay. So, we will try one more thing. We're going to look at the index. And let's think, what words could help us if we wanted to learn more about what words would help us if we wanted to focus on why sharks might attack? Okay, pick one. Yeah, definitely blood, right? Because it wouldn't make sense if I was like, why sharks attack? Hawaii. Because that's not giving me a reason, right? That's just giving me the name of a place. But we know that if we go to blood, and I see it even says the smell of blood, that gives us a big hint. Okay? So while you are reading informational books, right, as we are moving either through the white level of reading or we're getting closer and closer, you guys are going to come across more books that have tables of contents and an index because there's a lot of information. Use these tools It makes your reading and your writing, it just makes it a lot easier. Okay? So now what you are going to do is you are going to turn in this Ed puzzle on Google Classroom. And if the rotation is not over yet, you're still waiting to rotate, then what you can do is you can go on iReady Reading, or you may read at your seat. Okay? Great job, scholars.